Well, we'll kick it off on JoyNews Desk with our Living Standard series. And youth in Brekoso have left their farms to venture into the Okada business and petty trading to make ends meet. Elizabeth Sechi, a housewife, set up a convenience shop to cater for her 4 children, but business is currently crumbling due to high prices and low patronage. There is more in this Living Standard series.
Odi kura blue 20 cedis. Nti bibi okura na akwara na na me dey. Me dis can hwe no. Me opening dem ni di kura na obi nim se me didi ye.
When you plan ahead, you say tomorrow I will bring the money, tomorrow you won't come.
And upon me didi I G Gary Soakins. And me kura between the Gary Soakins. I'm matching so sam between the Gary Soakins.
3 years ago, Elizabeth Sechi established a convenience shop with 1,000 cedis to provide extra money for her home. Farming business in Brekoso, a town in the Kwapim South district, has declined in recent years.
Life is not easy at Brekoso. There are no jobs. Even when you trade, no one buys.
Police station.
The shop helped Elizabeth put food on her family's table. But in the face of economic challenges, there's been a drop in patronage. Shelves in her shop are almost empty because her capital cannot buy more goods.
My business is failing. My capital keeps dwindling. It is hard to explain how.
These days, she hardly goes to Accra to stock up. A chore she used to do every other weekend, but prices have risen steeply.
Goods have become so expensive. I'm unable to buy enough to stock up. When you do too, customers are always complaining that they can't afford it.
Now, her family's daily expenditure has gone up, and it is becoming hard to cater to her 4 children. She has to squeeze out 80 cedis daily just for food. Sometimes she goes hungry to ensure her children eat.
60 cedis, and I mean, 20 cedis.
I have to cough up 60 cedis for my 3 elderly children every day. I share 20 cedis with the baby, but sometimes I go hungry so he can have enough.
A better life for families like Lizzie's is increasingly becoming difficult. Her neighbor, Hawa Fana, a Sierra Leonean with 6 children, has a tabletop shop. To make ends meet, she also braids and styles hair. But the problem is, she has to drastically cut down her prices because people in the town can hardly afford it. Some are even still in her debt.
When you send someone, say bring 15 CD, 10 CD, we say I have 7 CD or I have 5 CD. Someone we can say if you can't bring money. When you plan ahead, you say tomorrow I will bring the money, tomorrow it won't come. Sometimes like today, so this morning I do 10 CD. Maybe before then say afternoon or in the evening, I will get again 10 cedi. That will make, then I get small money to go shop with my children.
The harsh economic situation in the town has forced many young men to migrate to Accra or engage in the Okada business. Saki, a junior high school leaver, has put his education on hold to take care of his siblings.
Last year, that was 15th November.
Coming by money is difficult in this town. I completed school last year, but now I have to drop schooling and work to fend for my younger siblings.
Either a laborer's job or Okada business will do just fine. But even that, eating has become a daily struggle.
A day, 20, 20, and
When I'm able to get 20 cedis, I can afford variety of my meals, but when there is no money, I eat Gary soakings 3 times a day.
And upon DJ, we are Gary soakings. And milk I'm 20 Gary soakings. How much also some 20 Gary soakings. Many of 5 city request manage for the whole day.
In a community where many have abandoned farming for supposed greener pastures in bigger towns, food prices are likely to climb higher, and hopes of a better standard of living in Brekusu looks dimmer.
Well, from our Living Standard series, let's go to the Nat Hall here in Accra, where many stranded and frustrated parents are working against time to get their wards enrolled into senior high school. According to the Ministry of Education, more than 130,000 individuals are expected to go through the self-placement system. But the process has proven difficult for many of these stranded parents and students alike. Some parents say their wards are frustrated. In one such situation, a parent says his ward contemplated suicide after being denied placement. My colleague Michael Ashale was there earlier today.
I talked to one of the parents, and you can see from the background, a lot of parents, since we've been here, close to 100 of them have come in, whereas about 50 of them have also gone. Some of the conversation I'm hearing from them is that, or they've been told to go home, their issues will be resolved, and it will reflect later. I have one of the parents here. Chief, what's your name?
My name is Apostle Elvis Jabba.
Okay. Apostle, how many days have you been coming here?
Oh, just this morning.
Just this morning.
Yes.
Okay. What's the issue about?
My daughter hasn't get a school, so I'm coming for school for her. I'm looking for school.
So of the 6 schools, she was not given any of them?
No.
I mean, what have they given any reason for that?
No, they haven't given any reason. They collect all the forms, okay, and they told us we should go. They will call us back after they finish.
Okay. So what schools did she choose?
Abri, Sectec,
okay,
and Mansinai. Okay. Right now, they give us 3 schools for which to choose. So I'm expecting them to call us.
So which 3 schools did you choose?
Right now, no, we have chosen Abri, Sectec now again, and Mansinai and Kropon. Okay. Yeah.
But you didn't get it the first time. What was the assurance they are getting this time around?
I don't know, but I hope we will get it. Okay. They are working hardly. They are working hardly. So okay. I hope we will get it. In a few days, we will get.
But her colleagues started school yesterday. They at least reported to school yesterday. Are you not worried about that?
My daughter is swollen. Okay. It nearly take a drug, killing herself. So I'm pleading for them to help me to get to school for my daughter. The daughter name is Ohinewa Princess Ohinewa Jaba. Okay. So please help me to get school for her. I'd
really love to meet her. Is she around
yes.
here? She could come here. Let me speak to her briefly. Ohinewa, Daddy tells me that of your 6 schools, you did not get any of them. I mean, how did that make you feel when you checked? You didn't get any of the schools that you chose?
Oh, I was very sad. Yeah.
I mean, so to what extent? What were your expectations when you, after writing the BC, you saw a result? What were your expectations?
I thought I'll get my first choice or my second choice, but actually I didn't get none of them.
Some of your friends went to school yesterday, and you are still here. Don't even know your fate. How does that make you feel? Does it compound your sadness?
Yes.
Right now that you've come here, what are you hoping to get out of this?
Well, I hope I'll get a school, a better school. Yeah.
But Daddy tells me that you were going through suicidal tendencies. Tell me about that. Why were you decide to end it all?
Oh, when I didn't get school, I thought maybe I'll go and write again. But my dad is helping me to get a school, so I'm bold and I'm sure I'll get a school.
Of the 3 schools that you choose, which of them are you hoping to actually get into?
Abri Sectec.
Why that school?
That school is very, the teachers teach very well, and I would like to go to that school. Yeah.
Anyway, I wish you all the best going to that school. So that's Apostle and his daughter, Ohinewa there. He tells me of the sad story that she was contemplating suicide after finding out that she wasn't going to get another school. I have another parent here. Daddy, how long have you been coming here?
Sorry, I'm not a parent. I'm a headmaster.
Okay. So as a headmaster, what are you doing here today?
I have compiled my students who want to change their program to do TVET programs in the selected technical schools. And to relieve the burden from the parents, I have to take the trouble and come and seek for placement for them.
But why are you doing it yourself? Usually when they are choosing the school, I think the fifth choice compulsory is supposed to be a TVET school. But what, in the first place, what school are you talking about?
I'm talking about pure technical schools.
Okay. Sometimes, what school are you headmaster of?
I am a headmaster Prince Boating.
Okay.
But the problem is, sometimes the students may choose the school when the placement is in, but later they change their mind. In my case, they chose pure secondary schools, but later they go home and realize they are technical oriented, and they wanted to change their program, and we have to understand them. Sometimes we were advising them, but they don't take it. Later they realize they have to change it to their their talent. So this is what I am doing. I am here to change all those who want to do technical programs to the technical school.
And what was the feedback we're getting from the authorities here?
Yeah, the arrangement is very good. It's very simple. We have to praise the secretariat who is doing this. They have programmed it to the extent that as soon as you come, you complain, and they will receive your complaint and feed it into the computer and tell you to go home, so that within 3 or 4 days, you can get a message from them that they have done it for you. And I think that is not putting us into any pressure.
Wonderful. Let me thank you very much. So he's a headmaster, is here to do self-placement for some students who have gotten into his school, but upon realizing that this is not what they really bargained for, they are hoping to change to some technical schools. Probably a good thing for technical schools, TVET schools in the country. So this hall right here is where the self-placement exercise is happening, where those who did not get any of their 6 schools, the choices that they made in the BEC, will be able to make a choice. Finally, as you can see in there that many parents are seated, waiting their turn to be addressed. Let me speak to Daddy here. You are a parent?
Yes, please. Yeah.
What are you here to really work on?
Oh, we are not happy about the school that they gave to me. Yeah, so we are here to change the school.
I mean, what school was she given? What's your child given?
OT secondary school, and you see that we are in Accra here, and we are just we are not okay about the distance from Accra to OT region. My God.
You wanted your child to be a day student?
Boarding.
But in Accra.
Oh, Accra, or at least Sogakope is cool to me. Yeah.
So, what school are you hoping to change it to?
When I'm going to work on Sogakope. Yeah.
But what response have you been getting from them?
We just came. We said we should go and print something else. I'm going outside to go and print something out and we see what God will do.
I wish you all the best, Daddy. So we'll speak to some more.
Now, meanwhile, former rector of GIMPA, Professor Philip Ebobonze Simpson, is pushing for a change in the computer placement into the senior high schools. He wants heads of schools to be allowed to admit students into their schools, just as authorities at the basic and the tertiary levels are allowed to do their own admissions. Speaking at the Infansipim Stakeholders Conference in Cape Coast, the founding dean of the UCC Law Faculty indicated the computer placement was destroying the traditions of schools and hurting schools more than helping build them.
The Infansipim Forum is a forum initiated by the school, its old boys, the church, and other major stakeholders to think about the school and the educational system being run currently in the country. Former rector of GIMPA and an old boy of Infansipim, Professor Philip Ebobonze Simpson indicated there was a need for an evaluation of the computerized school selection placement system, as the system does not take into account those whose contributions have made the school what it is now. Professor Bonze Simpson believes the system is unfair and destroying the traditions of the school, apart from the human interferences in the process that are putting many stakeholders of the school at a greater disadvantage.
If in Ghana, out of all the levels of school, is only secondary school that there's computer placement, there is a time for us to evaluate it. Those computers who operate them, is it not human beings? Is it not human beings? The school authorities, the headmaster should be allowed within a certain framework, a majority, of course, on merit. But there's a place for all students. There's a place for the church. There's a place for children of staff. There's a place, a small portion for protocol. The school authorities should be allowed within a certain framework to admit their own students. And who said when they were admitting their own students, they were admitting chaff? And who said when computer admits them, they are necessarily admitting geniuses? There's need for evaluation and even fanciful. And at a stakeholders conference like this, we can't make that case. Then indeed, Ghana is the poorer for it. But fanciful will make that case, and Ghana will be the richer for it.
Domahino Vesika, the traditional area, and Anakwabnan Katia believes there is a need to overhaul the system so the values of the schools could be kept.
We are here to redream Infantsipim. In fact, it was some people's dream. We cannot go on having the old way of seeing things. We need a new way of seeing things because we know as an institution, this school is challenged, just like most of the schools, educational institutions in the country are challenged.
The presiding bishop of the Methodist Church Ghana, Right Reverend Paul Kwabnabuafo, stated that the Methodist Church would continue to maintain their philosophy of a holistic education.
For us, we will continue to maintain our philosophy when it comes to the message of the gospel, where we give holistic nature, holistic information, and holistic education. We are not the church that looks just at one side of the individual or of the community, but we look at the totality of the person.
Headmaster of Infantsipim School, Reverend Ebenezer Edu, told the forum that government could not shoulder the burden in the school alone and that there was the need for all stakeholders to come together. He enumerated some of the infrastructural deficits in the school.
Infantsipim is the oldest secondary school in the country, and as such, age is catching up with our infrastructure as well. A careful look or assessment of our buildings reveal that in about 5 to 10 years, we may have a huge challenge as far as our infrastructure is concerned. Some dormitory blocks, master's flats, and even the headmaster's residents are all crying for attention.
The Stakeholders Forum canvassed for the involvement of all major stakeholders in fashioning out a better educational system that could stand the test of time. Reporting for JoyNews, Richard Kwejonya-Akon, Cape Coast.
Let's stay on the educational front, and the one teacher, one laptop policy suggested by the previous administration of NAT is being championed by government to ensure all teachers own laptops to enhance ICT literacy in schools. The General Secretary, Thomas Musa, during a tour of the Volta and OT regions, detailed that the distribution of laptops to teachers in junior high schools has begun nationwide following the completion of the distribution in senior high schools.
The National Delegate Conference that was held between the 2nd and 7th of January 2022 at the KNUST elected 5 national officers. They are here, as our chairman rightly put it, 1, to thank you for the confidence reposed in them, and also to familiarize themselves, at least traveling to where some of us are working, so when they are there and they are taking decisions, they'll be mindful. Then the most important thing is that they also want to listen to you. We have heads of department, the deputy general secretaries, everybody is here. All the questions that you have, you can ask them.
One of the questions from NAT members at the 6 meetings during a week tour was related to the one laptop, one teacher policy. Responding to the teachers, the General Secretary, Thomas Musa, had this to say.
Yes, please, the in-stock people have communicated the issues to you. To the best of my knowledge, all the SHS people have received it throughout the camp. They are starting to be corrected. But that is the information we have. The next one is has to do with the JHS. The JHS, all the regions have received except Ashanti, and then I think 2 districts in OT region, in the Volta region. And in the Volta region yesterday, it came to our attention that they have supplied. But when we check the statistics, for example, in Norway, they had 300. I think Bando, they said they're giving them 150 or so, the JHS. But it looks like when you compare the figures on the database of the district as the quantities that came, there is some kind of shortfall. We told them that they should take note of it, of them, and then report it, and we'll follow up and let all the things of the outstanding ones come to them.
The leadership promised to negotiate for befitting salaries while implementing policies to enhance the livelihood of members.
With the current economic hardship and any proposal from NATS, yes, we have proposed a cost of living allowance. We call it COLA. We are pushing it. You know, we have a salary adjustment for this year already. So what can be done to cushion us is only COLA. So we are pushing for that. Silence of national executive. The country is experienced. Leaders must speak up for increment. National executives are not silenced on this at all. Like I said, we have submitted a proposal and we are making plans to give you a good deal this year. Some
of the districts, including Ho and Hohwe, requested funding to complete their district office projects.
We want to recognize our regional chairman, Mr. David Carter, for helping us get the opportunity to be the first district selected in the Volta region to get a prototype secretariat. We are not complete yet with the building, and so we are appealing to leadership that they should help us complete the building as soon as possible.
The executives also extended support to 2 ailing members, Joycelyn Atikpo, who was stationed at the Kpanle Hose Basic School, and Janet Adi from the Jarsekine district. The NAT national executives visited the land procured by the Kpando district to construct a district office and other facilities. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News.
Thank you for staying with us on Joy News Desk. We take a breather and return to talk more education. We'll be right back. Welcome back on Joy News Desk. Now, the double track system will not be implemented for the first year students reporting to senior high school for the 2022 and 2023 academic year. That's according to the Education Ministry. We'll bring you more on that shortly, but first, let's bring you an update on the computerized school selection placement system. And many JHS graduates and their parents are yet to have their concerns addressed. Let's hear from the spokesperson for the ministry, Kwesi Kwarteng, who has been explaining the new arrangement.
Questions have also come out as to whether or not double track is going to be maintained as the first years go to school. I mean, obviously, if you refer to the earlier timetable that came out, that whole idea of double track, where within 1 year group you had 2 cohorts. This time around, we are not going to have anything of such an arrangement. So where we had green track being in school at some point, and then later on they vacate, and then the gold logo enters the school, we are not going to have such an arrangement. But at least it demonstrates that this time around we have significant level of infrastructure that students are going to take advantage of. So that whole idea of double track, where within a year group we divide into 2 cohorts, is going to be a thing of the past within this year's arrangements.
And that was Kwesi Huating. Now, the National Association of Graduate Teachers has been reacting to this development.
To establish a relationship between the infrastructure and the students, then you can conclude and say that we have a congenial atmosphere or not. Now, certainly, the number of Form 1 students have increased. It's increased tremendously from before double track and before free senior high school and after free senior high school. So you need to have a commensurate infrastructural space available to accommodate them. If we do not have that situation, then we will have a problem. Either we have congestion in the schools, or we will now have to do with letting students go home because there is no space. So it is not a question of being happy or not happy. It is a question of seeing whether we have the needed infrastructure, coterminous with the number of students available looking for space in senior high school. That is where the issue is. We still have infrastructure challenges in a lot of schools. Some of the projects that were started are not completed yet. So once you have that, you are definitely going to get pressure on the little infrastructure that is available.
Well, let's check out some details right now in terms of free SHS enrollment. And in the millions, you can see between 2017 and 2020, the enrollment stood at 1.2 million. You come to the 2017 to 2021 gold track. That was for the blue track. The gold track, that also accounted for some 1.26 million. And the green track between 2017 and 2022, that stood at 1.32 million. So the first one for 3 years, the next one for another 3 years, and the last for some 4 years. Now, when you look at the secondary level infrastructure between 2017 and 2021, the gold track accounted for 657 that have been completed, and in the green track, 478, or in the other belt, 478 that are under construction. So 657 completed and 478 under construction. The total, 1,135. Let's look at TVET, and first-year students of the newly aligned TVET institutes will be fully enrolled onto the free SHS program in the 2021-2022 academic year, as was mentioned. Some more details now in terms of the dynamics. Public secondary schools, the number totaling 679. Let's take a look at the breakdown when it comes to teachers and students. Teachers totaled 58,190, and for students, they amounted to 1,261,495. And so that was a further breakdown of the issues. Let's move on now. And Majority Leader Osei Mensa Bonsu, that is the Majority Leader Osei Mensa Bonsu, of course, he has been speaking on some matters. He has revealed that Sarah Adjo Asafo may be referred to Parliament's Privileges Committee by next week. The Member of Parliament for Dome Kwabenya has been absent from the House for an extended period of time without permission from the Speaker for no known reason. Speaking about her absence on JoyNews PM Express, the Majority Leader noted that the Speaker had intended to refer her to the Privileges Committee last week, Tuesday, but due to prevailing circumstances, had to reschedule.
She requested from the Speaker to be given 4 more weeks to be absent. The 4 weeks, I guess, is ending Friday.
Was that approved? Was that granted?
it wasn't granted. The Speaker told me that he had not granted that, because you need to be here to make the requests. But this was submitted from our side, and even the first one that saw her out, she didn't make any request from the Speaker. So the Speaker said, you're only going to accommodate that. My own information was that even last Tuesday, the Speaker was going to make a pronouncement on it in the House. I think the circumstances prevented him from so doing. I want to believe that perhaps before the House adjourns tomorrow, or maybe next week when the House sets, the Speaker may make the announcement by referring her conduct to the Privileges Committee before we adjourn, because that's the information that the Speaker gave to me. And so I thought he was going to do that. And by whatever circumstances that evolved, he elected not to do that. So I want to see what the Speaker does in the coming days.
But for certain, that's what you expect to happen now? Referral to the privileges for consideration?
That's I'm relating to what the Speaker told you. As to whether it's going to roll out.
As a majority leader yourself, what do you want? What do you expect? You are her majority leader.
Well, it's been a long drawn matter. We've been having conversations, and I think there's something that is happening. There's something that is happening, and I don't want to go into it. Unfortunate as the situation is, but certainly a decision will have to be taken.
One way or the other?
One way or the other.
The Constitution is clear what decision can be taken on this.
Absolutely.
Well, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia says government will soon address the challenges confronting security agencies, forcing them to depend on the importation of security hardware. According to him, this undesirable state of affairs is among the reasons the president made it a matter of unavoidable necessity to institute the one district, one factory policy. According to him, the human resource of the Ghana Armed Forces have not been leveraged, and this status quo will not be allowed to persist in the era of industrialization under the Akufo-Addo-led government. Samuel Mbura has more in this report.
The Vice President was speaking at the inauguration of a joint venture company under the Defense Industries Holding Company Limited, DHOC. He observed that armed forces all over the world have been pacesetters for driving development from diverse fronts. Same, however, cannot be said of Ghana because of the little knowledge the public has of the services of the Ghana Armed Forces. He corrected that the Ghana Armed Forces doesn't only specialize in peacekeeping. He wants the status quo changed.
The armed forces all over the world have been pace setters for driving development efforts on diverse fronts. In light of this, many countries, like the State of Israel, Egypt, and most developed and middle-income developing countries in Europe and the Americas and Asia, have all leveraged their militaries to catapult their development through defense industrial complexes. Ghana is yet to take full advantage of the huge technical human resource the armed forces have in propelling our developmental progress over the years. However, it is obvious this status quo cannot continue to persist under the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo era of industrialization and one district, one factory for a Ghana beyond aid. Although the armed forces have had the entity called Defense Industries Holding Company, DHOC, for some years now, this entity has not been leveraged significantly to catalyze the industrialization of our country until now.
Chief of Defense Staff of the Ghana Armed Forces, Vice Admiral Seth Amwama, said the establishment of Defense Industries Holding Company Limited is in conformity with all the legal requirements. This enables it to undertake national developmental projects across the country.
The establishment of the Defense Industries Holding Company, DHOC for short, therefore conformed with all the necessary legal requirements after the establishment had been duly approved by the Armed Forces Council. All legal issues relating to company formation and operation have been duly addressed. Additionally, this endeavor conforms to provisions in the 1992 Constitution, particularly Article 210, Clause 10, which lends credence to the proposition for the Ghana Armed Forces to engage in national development projects in the country.
The DHOC project, when realized, is expected to establish an industrial command that will focus on provision of critical logistic needs of the armed forces. It will also be a vanguard of the country's industrialization drive, taking necessary actions that will ensure an effective management of any emerging socio-economic and human security threats in the country. The Vice President commissioned some construction equipment and also cut sod for the start of project at the Burma camp. Samuel Imbura's report for JoyNews.
On that note, we take a break and we return with business.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to Business on News Desk. My name is Beverly Broom. Star Assurance Ghana says its new product, the Pokua Insurance, a virtual assistant, is open to all customers. According to the Chief Executive Officer, Boatima Bafo Ewa, the company remains committed to leveraging technology to make insurance easier and more convenient.
At the launch, the Chief Executive Officer of Star Assurance noted that the company will continue to invest in digital tools to expand its operations. She explained that the Pokua Insurance is not only limited to smartphone customers, but other phone users to access the services, as well as direct brokers, agents, and other partners who do businesses with the company. Here's the Chief Executive Officer for the company, Boatima Bafo Ewa.
Our biggest thing is we want to ensure that insurance reaches everybody. As you know, the insurance penetration is very low, and Pokua has both the USSD and the WhatsApp Insure. So even if you can't go on WhatsApp, you always have the option of using your YAM phone or any other phone, and you get the same services end to end, very easy. You can buy insurance policies, you can renew insurance policies, as well as lodge your claim and check the process, at what point your claims is at.
She explained the uniqueness of the product and the need to embark on such innovative ways of reaching out to its customers.
Now, what makes Pokua different from other virtual assistants in the market is that we've actually taken into consideration our intermediaries, which is our brokers and our agents, and they can actually do the policies for their clients through Pokua. So that is something that is different from other insurance companies who have launched their virtual assistants.
Pokua Insurance is a strategic approach by the company to reach out to the insuring public.
The Ghana Standards Authority will begin rolling out some standardization programs for local innovations which have the potential of solving global challenges. Now, according to the Director General of the authority, Professor Alex Dodu, this will deal with issues relating to patents.
We need to have, for me I call it a family conversation, on how to bring those who are working. I mean, take Swami Awi or Makola or any of the informal markets, and we are dead as a country. So why are we not figuring out what it takes? And they are organized. If you go to Swami alone, you get at least 200 different associations, all with their heads and with their constitutions. If you go to Makola, the Queen Mothers are organized. We just haven't thought of how they think, because let's face it, we have also been biased. We just take the Western model and think it works. Asusu and Co have worked that, later they came and called it microfinance. Now we say it's microfinance. I mean, it's frustrating because we have good things. And I know as university people, you guys will blame us, and you are right, that we, the professors, haven't probably domesticated these things enough, or rather, having used the traditional wisdom and giving it a scientific explanation. And in fact, my final point would be that look at Veronica Bucket. A Ghanaian creation. We did not give it an exciting name. We did not give it a patent. And the whole world is using it. But the poor Madame Vero, she's still around. She's alive. She didn't get 1 penny from it. I mean, it's painful. If she had been of a different color, trust me, we would have said, wow, V Bucket and the whole world, and we'll import it. And so it's really that we have everything, but we just need to position them well, work with each other, especially those who come with the ideas, and most of whom will tend not to have a degree, but they are creative, they are blessed with the creativity, and help to formalize it. And then if we do that, and definitely the Standards Authority has said that we are coming up with standards for those products. I mean, we've started already, and this year we'll roll them out so that they can have at least a mark saying that this is standardized. That would give confidence, and that would definitely give market access. If they start making their money, they will also send their children to school to manage their businesses and keep some of us unemployed.
Sigil Ghana Limited, dealer in HLP branded products from India, says Sigil Ghana Limited, dealer in HLP products, says it would leverage various opportunities presented to them to expand and cushion and also create employment opportunities for Ghanaians.
Companies meeting with ET dealers in the country, they revealed plans to expand ET operations to other parts of the country. The Ghanaian-based Indian company vowed to partner other companies in that quest. Here's the Chief Executive Officer for the company, Milind Garud.
Trip to India for the dealers making maximum number of business. We'll come out with the figures and we will reach you personally for details. Meanwhile, before we close, I will request you to join us for dinner at the restaurant. The floor is open for the questions now, if you have any.
Sigil Ghana Limited says it will also digitize its operations and promote small-scale businesses.
That'll be all for business. Kindly log on to myjoyonline.com/business for more news. Up next is sports.
Time now for us to talk sports, and Muftau Nabila Abdullahi joins me in the studio. Good morning, Muftau.
Good morning.
Why that sober good morning this morning? What's happening? It's so sober. Why? How come?
You want me to be flying?
Let's talk. Let's talk about the UEFA Champions League.
You want me to fly?
No. We'll do this after the segment is over.
I know where you want to go.
Where do I want to go, Muftau?
I don't know.
But you just said you knew. Let's talk about the UEFA Champions League.
Yes,
the quarterfinal stage, and noticeably absent is my camp of Red Devils, Manchester United. We fell to Atletico Madrid, but they are going to be facing English. Actually, I felt we could have beaten them. They just scraped past us. I mean, looking at the scoreline, they scraped past us.
You see, one thing UEFA wants to do is to add clubs with certain pedigree or history in the UEFA Champions.
Are you sure you want to go there? with a Manchester United fan sitting in front of you, are you sure you want to do that?
Because you people, you glorify history.
History is important.
Okay, let's talk about the fixtures tonight. It is Liverpool versus Benfica. Benfica surprisingly got the better of Ajax Amsterdam to qualify.
Surprisingly?
Yes. It's surprising because Ajax Amsterdam, from the group stages of the Champions, they won every single match from that group stage.
Right.
And when they got to a round of 16, the first leg, they went all the way to Portugal and got a draw. And then they went at home and lost. That was quite surprising.
But everything Liverpool, just crumbled for them at home.
If you look at the trajectory of Liverpool this season, you're looking at a team that you believe that this first leg would be a leg that they would use to set the tone for qualifying to the next phase of the competition. I strongly believe that Liverpool have got the quality to do it, though this is the Champions League. It is a stage where sometimes you don't need your dominance of domestic football to do it. You can do it in Europe as well. Talk of Chelsea, for instance, when they were struggling under Frank Lampard,
right,
comes in Thomas
Tuchel, and then they go on to win the Champions League.
2012,
the Club World Cup.
Yes, the Club World Cup. 2012, similar thing under Andy Villas-Boas. Then Roberto Matteo came in, led them to win the Champions League. Di Matteo, yeah. Right. So it's you look at the European football and you want to compare that to that of domestic competition, and you might get it wrong. But I do think that Liverpool have got the quality to do it. I think the big game, however, would be the Manchester City versus Atletico Madrid contest.
Exactly. Pep Guardiola has been speaking about that.
And these are managers with two contrasting tales of football. You're looking at Atletico Madrid manager Diego Simeone, who always preferred to keep it locked.
Right.
And look at a Manchester City manager in Pep Guardiola, who wants to play some kind of intricate football, knock the ball around, create the opportunities. Would that happen against Atletico Madrid? Many people would say that you expect them to limit the chances of Manchester City in tonight's contest. They would like to go back to Wanda Metropolitano with an advantage of qualifying to the next phase, which is the semi-final. But I think that it's going to be a tough night. I'm not sure Manchester City will have the better of Atletico Madrid.
You're not sure?
I'm not too sure.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Because against English opposition, they've been pretty tricky. A very tricky, pot of soup to deal with.
I remember, was it 2014 when Jose Mourinho returned to Chelsea. They came to Stamford Bridge, they won 3-1 and progressed. Then they had the better of Liverpool as well.
Exactly.
So
they've had the better of Manchester United.
So you are looking at a side that is very familiar to the English atmosphere, and you can tell that this is an opportunity they would like to take. But I do think that Manchester City, having lost the final last season, will be more hungrier to go for it. Atletico Madrid have had their own pains as well. They lost it back-to-back to Real Madrid.
Yes. While Cristiano Ronaldo was still there.
Yeah. But now they've beaten.
But now I was looking forward to it, finding out. But I mean, it's not the same story. The squads are different, and the fortunes of the clubs are very different.
Two different stories. Let's wait and see what will happen tonight. But it's a game to enjoy.
All right. So what are your projections, or what do you think will happen tonight? Very quickly on the different teams.
Most often you want to push me to the wall.
I do want to push you to the wall.
Okay, I'll predict tomorrow morning.
No, not tomorrow morning. In the next 30 seconds or so, give us your predictions.
I think Manchester City will have a slim win over Atletico Madrid.
Okay.
And the other game, Liverpool will whitewash Benfica.
Liverpool whitewash Benfica. Yes. The same Benfica that edged past Ajax Amsterdam. All right, so Benfica versus Liverpool and Manchester City versus Atletico Madrid. Thank you, Muftau. We'll see how the cookie crumbles tonight.
I know you'll be watching.
I'll try to watch if I don't end up sleeping. Nowadays, rest very important as well. But those are the fixtures for you, and that's how we wrap it on Joy News Desk. Thank you for joining us. Stay for our next major bulletin at noon. Have a good one.